3 years ago, my father sat across from me at dinner and said something I will never forget. "Eleanor, I feel like I'm disappearing." He was 71, looked fine, talked fine. His doctor had just told him he was perfectly healthy, but inside his body was sending 5 signals, 5 warnings that I had spent my entire career teaching other people to read. And I missed every single one, in my own father. He died 8 months later. I made a promise that night. Never again. My name is Dr. Eleanor Hayes, 28 years as Chief of Geriatric Medicine. Over 12,000 patients examined past the age of 65. And I have found the 5 signs that tell you, without any doubt, whether your body is heading toward 95 or whether you have maybe 3 years before everything collapses. Every single one is testable at home. Today, in under 10 minutes. Every single one is reversible, some in weeks. I know that sounds impossible. So let me prove it. Last Tuesday, a 74-year-old man named George walked into my office. His doctor had just told him he was aging beautifully. Perfect blood pressure, perfect cholesterol, clean bill of health. I ran 5 tests. Took less than 10 minutes. When I finished, I looked at George and said, "Your body is operating like a 91-year-old. He went pale. But 14 months later, George reversed 11 years of biological aging, with 4 changes a child could make. I am going to show you exactly what those 5 signs are, and exactly what George did. But I need to warn you about sign number 4. It was destroying George every single night, and he never felt a thing. His doctor never caught it. And it is probably happening to someone watching this right now. Stay with me. Before I show you the signs, you need to understand why your doctor keeps missing them. Your body is not breaking down randomly. It follows a very specific pattern. Think of it as a chain. 5 links, each one connected to the next. When one link weakens, it does not snap. It stretches, quietly, invisibly. And while it stretches, it pulls the links on either side. They begin to stretch too. You feel nothing. Your doctor sees nothing. Your blood work comes back clean. And then one day, one ordinary Tuesday, a single link snaps. And the whole chain collapses so fast that everyone around you says, "It happened so suddenly." It did not happen suddenly. It happened over years. And every one of those years, your body was telling you. These 5 signs are how it tells you. Right now, today, sign number 1. Not your heart rate, not your blood pressure. How fast your heart recovers after effort. This is one number. And it may be the most important number you have never been told. The New England Journal of Medicine followed 5,200 people for 12 years. One simple test. Walk fast for 60 seconds. Sit down. Count how much your heart rate drops in the next 2 minutes. People whose heart rate dropped 22 beats or more, alive at 90. People whose heart rate dropped fewer than 12, most of them were not, just from that one number. Dorothy was 71 when she came to see me. Walked every morning. Felt wonderful. I asked her to march in place for 60 seconds. Her heart rate dropped 8 beats. "But I feel fine, Dr. Hayes." "I know you do. That is the problem. Here is how you test this right now. Stand up. March in place as fast as you comfortably can for 60 seconds. Sit down. Feel your pulse for 15 seconds. Multiply by 4. Write that number down. Wait 2 minutes. Feel your pulse again. Subtract. 15 or higher. Your heart is recovering well. 10 to 14. This needs attention. Below 10. This is your emergency signal. George's number was 7. But here is what shook me. That was not even close to his worst sign. Sign number 2, the silent fire. This is not a blood test. You will never see it on a scan. Chronic, low-grade inflammation. It simmers inside your body for years. No pain, no fever, no symptoms your doctor would flag. And it is present in nearly 80% of people who die from heart disease, stroke, and organ failure after 70, not as a side effect, as the primary driver. Here is what nobody tells you. It announces itself every single day, not with pain, with 5 very specific changes in your daily life that most people dismiss as just getting older. Count along with me. 1. You wake up stiff every morning. Takes more than 20 minutes before you feel like yourself. 2. Your ankles or fingers swell slightly by evening. 3. You feel mentally foggy in the hour after eating. 4. Small cuts and bruises heal noticeably slower than they did 5 years ago. 5. You feel worse, more exhausted, more restless, after late or heavy dinners. How many of those describe your life right now? 1 or 2? Early warning. 3 or more? That is not aging. That is a fire burning inside your immune system, damaging your blood vessels, your brain, your joints, your heart. Every single day. George had 4 of those 5 for 3 years. His doctor never asked about a single one. Now, sign number 3. And this one stopped me cold the first time I saw the data. Not your grip strength. How fast it is disappearing. That distinction is everything. Most doctors check your grip once and say, "You are fine." But the University of Michigan tracked 8,000 adults across 10 years, the ones who lost more than 3 kilograms of grip strength per year. 4.7 times higher mortality. Not 4.7%. 4.7 times. Because grip strength does not measure your hand. It measures the rate of decline of your entire muscular system, your legs, your core, your diaphragm, your heart. Yes, your heart is a muscle too. Here is your test. Stand a bathroom scale upright against a wall. Press your dominant hand flat against it as hard as you can for 3 seconds. Write down the number. Men over 65. You need at least 28 kilograms. Women over 65. At least 18. Below that, you are in the decline zone. But here is the test that actually matters. Do it again next week and the week after. If that number is dropping, even slowly, that is the signal. Not where you are, where you are going. George was at 16 kilograms, dropping. But none of what I am about to tell you about George's recovery would have mattered, because sign number 4 was undoing every repair his body tried to make. Every single night. I told you about this one at the beginning. The sign that was destroying George in his sleep. The one he never felt. The one his doctor never caught. I need you to understand something before I explain this. Everything your body repairs, every damaged cell, every toxin cleared from your brain, every piece of muscle rebuilt after a day of use, happens during sleep, not during the day, at night, in the dark, while you are completely unconscious. And all of that repair work runs on one fuel: oxygen. If your blood oxygen drops below 94% during sleep, even briefly, even for just a few minutes per hour, your body cannot complete the repair cycle. It starts. It stops. It starts again. It stops again. Night after night. Year after year. Invisible damage. Accumulating in the dark. A University of California study followed 2,800 seniors for 8 years. The ones with low nighttime oxygen showed brain volume loss 40% faster than normal. Not slower thinking, not mild forgetfulness. Measurable brain tissue. Gone. You sleep right through it. You cannot feel it. You cannot wake up and know it happened. You breathe in the dark, and your brain quietly shrinks. George's nighttime oxygen was dropping to 88%. Every single night. For years. While his doctor told him he was aging beautifully. A pulse oximeter costs less than $25 at any pharmacy. A small clip that goes on your finger. Clip it on at bedtime. Check the number when you wake up. Below 94. See your doctor this week. Below 90. Do not wait a single day. Sign number 5. This is the simplest test in this entire video, and the most overlooked measurement in all of geriatric medicine. Right now, while you are sitting here, breathe normally and count how many breaths you take in 1 full minute. Do not control your breathing, just count. 12 to 18. Normal. Above 20. Your body is waving a red flag. Above 24. Call your doctor. This week. Here is why this number matters more than almost anything your doctor has ever measured. When your resting respiratory rate is elevated, it means your body is working at maximum effort just to keep you alive while you sit still. Your lungs are straining, your diaphragm is overworking, your heart is pumping harder than it should just to compensate. It is like running a car engine at 5,000 revolutions per minute while parked in your driveway. Every organ burning out. Every minute, every hour, every day. That is not aging. That is your body screaming for help. George's resting respiratory rate was 23, 5 signs, all failing. And his doctor had just given him a clean bill of health. Let me tell you exactly what happened next. I told George the truth. If nothing changes, you have 3 to 5 years of real independence. Then decline. He was quiet for a long time. Then he looked at me and said, "What do I need to do?" 4 changes. That is all. Change number 1. Morning box breathing. 4 seconds in. 4 seconds hold. 4 seconds out. 4 seconds hold. 4 minutes. Every morning before he got out of bed. 6 weeks later, his resting respiratory rate dropped from 23 to 15. His body stopped panicking just to keep him alive at rest. Change number 2. A $25 pulse oximeter. He discovered his nighttime oxygen was 88%. He elevated his head, changed his sleeping position, added a breathing exercise before bed. 2 months later, 96%, every night. His brain started completing its repair cycle for the first time in years. Change number 3. 3 removals, late dinners, processed seed oils, his nightly glass of wine. The silent fire started going out. Within 8 weeks, his ankles stopped swelling. The morning stiffness disappeared. His mind cleared between meals. Change number 4. A tennis ball, both hands, 3 minutes a day, every single morning. His grip went from 16 kilograms to 29 kilograms in 5 months. 14 months after that first visit, George walked back into my office. I reran every test. 3 of his 5 failing signs, completely normal. The other 2, dramatically improved. His biological age markers, down 11 years. 11 years. No surgery, no prescription, no hospital. 4 changes a child could make. Now remember Dorothy, the woman whose heart recovered only 8 beats, who said, "But I feel fine, Dr. Hayes." I showed her the same breathing protocol, checked her overnight oxygen, adjusted her sleep position. 9 months later, she walked into my office. Faster than I walk, heart rate recovery, 22 beats, normal. She sat down across from me and said, My daughter told me I look younger. My grandchildren say I have more energy than them. Then she said something that keeps me awake at night. Why didn't anyone tell me sooner? That question haunts me, because my father would have asked the same thing. He sat across from me at dinner and told me he felt like he was disappearing. And I, the person who does this for a living, looked at him and thought, Dad, that is just aging. It was not aging. It was 5 signals his body had been sending for years. Signals I now recognize in the first 10 minutes of every appointment. Signals I missed in the person I loved most. I cannot go back and save my father, but I can make sure you know what he did not. Here is what I need you to do before this video ends. Get a piece of paper. Write down 5 numbers. 1. Your heart rate recovery after 60 seconds of movement. 2. How many of the 5 inflammation signs apply to you right now? 3. Your grip strength, and test it again. Next week. 4. Your nighttime oxygen. Get a pulse oximeter tonight. 5. Your resting breaths per minute. 5 numbers. All testable today. All reversible. George proved it. Dorothy proved it. 12,000 patients proved it. The ones I lost were not unlucky. They were uninformed. They did not know what their body was trying to tell them. Now you do.